Morning, morning two, proper lockdown now, ladies and gents. Reeboks today obviously match my top. Unfortunately, because of the lockdown, no delivery, so I can't open my new ones. I'm going to get right into it. So there's going to be 10 questions similar to the ones yesterday. I'll show you the questions. You then need to pause it, do the questions, unpause it, then the answers will be there as well. Mark your work, then any that you got wrong and you weren't sure about how to actually do, I'll go through all 10 up there. So these are today's questions. Okay, so in 3 seconds, press pause, give them a go. 1, 2, 3, and welcome back. So you would have given all 10 a go. So these are now the answers. Okay, that was too quick. You need to go back, pause it and mark them. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each question one by one. So first up, what we've got, 2/3 divided by 2/5. 2/3 divided by 2/5. My daughter's asleep. She doesn't know I'm using her whiteboard at the moment. So if she wakes up, my wife's going to have to stop filming and go and sort her out. So we might do this in 2 takes today. So as you know, this is keep, change, flip. I always like to put it at the top, the KCF, so you're locking in what we're doing. So keep means you keep it the same. Change means you do the inverse operation. And flip it means flip on its head. Then it's now multiply, which is not Reeboks, it's night, just do it. 2 times 5 is 10, 3 times 2 is 6. Now, do we leave it like that? No, we do not. Of course, we have to simplify it. So 10/6. We know there's 6 sixths and a whole one, so 10/6, which means we've got 1, okay, and what? 4/6, which is 1 and 2/3. Next question. You need to bear with me with the baby wipes. The board might get a little bit wet.
Do it under them.
Next up, what's that? 20.5 times 3.5. Yeah, good idea. So you go do it underneath. 20.5 times 3.5. So, what gives it? We're not loving the decimals, so we're going to take the decimals out. So we're going to take 1 decimal out there, it becomes 205, and 1 out there, it becomes 35. Okay, it's not a great pen this. So now I'm going to do 200. Try up here. 205 times 35. Again, the hardest bit is drawing the table. Try and go through each one, even if the lines aren't straight. Got 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 5 is 25, 0 times 3 is 0, 0 times 5 is 0, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 5 is 10. Let's add up the channel. So this channel here, we've got a 5. This channel here, we've got a 7. This channel here, we've got a 1. This channel here, we've got a 7. So we've got 7175. So we've got 7175. And remember, we took 2 decimal places out. So we put 2 back in. So the answer is 71.75. Try the kitchen towel instead of the baby wipe. Evaluate 2 to the power 6. Well, we know to the power 6. 2 to the power 6 basically means 2 times 2. There's going to be 6 2s. Times 2, times 2, times 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 8. Times 2 is 16. Times 2 is 32. Times 2 is 64. 2 times table, nice and easy. What's next? Expand. X, 3x, add 1. So, as yesterday's means multiply. So if that helps, put a 1 there. Okay, so we're going to have 3x squared. 1 times 3 is 3. X times x is x squared. Well, x times 1 is going to be 1x. Okay, 1x or simply an x. So we've got 3x squared, add x. Remember, expand means multiply. I'm going to double up baby wipe and kitchen roll. No expense spared. Express the speed 10 meters per second. We've got 10 meters per second into kilometers per hour. Kilometers per hour. So first thing, let's make this meters per second is a meters per minute. by timesing it by 60. 10 times 60 is 600. So now I've got 600 meters per minute. Let's convert it into hours by timesing it by 60 again, which gets us, what's that, 36,000, I think? 36,000 meters per hour. I don't want meters, I want kilometers. Okay, you know, there's 1,000 kilometers, 1,000 meters in a kilometer. So we need to divide that by 1,000 and you get 36 kilometers per hour. Okay, so I did the distance and then I worried about the time later. I'm getting pretty, look at that. Look. Wet wipe followed by the dry one. That's efficiency, that is.
They're rationed.
Yeah, they are rationed, yeah. Right, what's up next? 5% of £7, sorry. So there's my £7. If you remember yesterday, we did 10%. The easiest way to find, cheers to you guys, to find 5% is to find 10% and then half it. Remember, 10% is our gateway kind of percentage. So obviously, there's £7. I'm going to move 1 decimal place, so it becomes £0.70. So that's 10%. So 5%, I'm just going to half it, divided by 2. So it's going to be 35p, or 0.35. Percentages will stop you being ripped off in life. Okay, be good at basic percentages in your head and you'll never be ripped off. What's up next? 5x minus 4 equals 3x minus 20. This is a bit of a mean one, really. I realised yesterday maybe I should have just done a 1 step, then a 2 step, then a 3 step. But we've gone with this now, so we'll stick with it. So what I do here, when I've got an x on both sides, you get rid of the smallest x first. The 3x is the smallest x. I get rid of it. I do the opposite. That's a positive 3, so I do a minus 3. And what you do to one side, you always do to the other. So 5x minus 3x is 2x. Disappears, I've got minus 20. I want to get the x's by themselves. I need to get rid of this minus 4. Get rid of minus 4 by adding 4. But what I do to one side, I'll do to the other. So it leaves 2x equals, so I've got minus 20 and you're adding 4. So you're at minus 20. When you add, you move up the number line. So you go minus 20, add 4 is minus 16. So 2x equals minus 16. So I need to divide by the number of x's, which is 2. So I get x equals minus 8. Do you notice I always put down on both sides what I'm doing? I lock in each step. That way if I get a little bit confused, which happens a lot, I don't have to go right back to the beginning. What's next? Makes x subject formula y equals x minus a. Y equals x minus a. So make x the subject. Remember, making the subject means you want it by itself. So I want to get the x by itself. At the moment, it's got this little annoying minus a. Okay? So how do I get rid of minus a? I do the opposite operation. I add a. But what I do to one side, I do to the other.
I do to the other.
See, he gets it. Lovely. So I need to add a. Good boy. I need to add a to both sides. Y add a equals x. Or x equals y add a. Simples. Good mix. Got topics in the starters here. What's up next? Nth term. So we've got 12, 23, 34, and 45. So nth term, it was something n, and then something else there. So what goes here? What goes here is the jump each time from left to right, the rule. So 12 to 23, so that's going to be add 11. I'm not just going to stop there. I'm not going to take it for granted that's correct. My maths is, it is dodgy. So, yes, that is, yeah, right, okay, so I'm happy it's always add 11. So this, therefore, becomes 11. Just park the rule next to the n. And now what goes in this box here? Well, you create a new first number. So something, add 11 is 12. That's one way of thinking about it. Or if it's add 11 this way, it means it's minus 11 that way. So what is 12 minus 11? 1. And remember, if you're given an nth term and it says what is the 10th term of a sequence, so if you had what is the 10th term of 3n add 3, the term you're looking for becomes the n. So I want the 10th term, I do 3 times 10, which is 30 add 3. Okay? I'm sure that'll pop up at some point.
1. equals 1. 2 times 2 equals 1.
No, it doesn't.
2 times 3 equals 3.
No, no, nearly. We'll work on that. So we got last one is 4 times 8. It gets his maths from me. 4 times 8, add 2 times 3. So remember, bid maths. Brackets, indices, divide and multiply, add and subtract. I don't write these like that, because that makes you think you always do divide or multiply. It's not. You just do whatever comes first, left to right with these ones. So there's no brackets, there's no indices. But there is multiplication. So I need to do multiplication first because we work down. 4 times 8 is 32. Add 2 times 3, which is 6. So 32 add 6 is 38. Boom. Right. So if you've got any questions, if I've gone too fast, I have gone fast, and obviously in a lesson I'll be asking, are you okay with that? You know, and I'll break it down a little bit more. So if you've got any questions, you're not happy, by all means, just write a little comment. Makes you nice and polite. You know, I like good manners. But do keep these up, because they really will help you. You know, we're going to be off for who knows how long. So it is important that you you try and keep up with things. If they're too easy and you're getting 10 out of 10, let me know that, and I'll do some different ones. If you're saying that these are fine, then I'll just maybe scrap this set and move on to another set. There we go. Anyway, so this is Mr. Birch, Hugo, and Mrs. Birch, and our new dog. That's Poppy.